Dororo for me is an example of a great idea that was executed poorly. I really liked the premise of a man going around fighting demons so that he could obtain his body parts back. From the promotional material, to the OP, to the first episode, everything was great, and I was excited to see what was going to happen next, and went into future episodes with pretty high expectations. But unfortunately, episode after episode, my excitement just kept on decreasing, until it felt like a chore to watch the series, and then I finally dropped it.
What he's doing? Why you bully me?
Each episode is somewhat dark in its own way, and with a gritty atmosphere and a great OST mixed into that, it all blends well together, and succeeds in creating the old war feel that it wants. The atmosphere of every episode is definitely there, but the story most of the time feels lackluster. That is because, unfortunately for me, the show is very episodic, which means that almost every episode will have a villain that our protagonist needs to defeat. I certainly prefer a series where all episodes are connected and feel like an actual story is happening, but I don't necessarily hate episodic shows, and I think that they could still be done well, and one great example of this is JoJo's Part 4. A lot of the things that happen in one episode in JoJo carries over to other episodes, and some details even become major plot points in the finale. Dororo rarely does this. Things that happen in one episode may not even be brought up in the next. Dororo also suffers from being episodic because it sets up a major story and villain from the start, while JoJo's Part 4 doesn't introduce the villain until the latter parts of the show, and when they finally do introduce him, they actually make us feel his presence. If Dororo just left some details on what was happening at Hyakimaru's old town, or maybe play some demons in the actual town that Hyakimaru used to live in, so that we can have some insight on what was going on with the town and Hyakimaru's father. I know that they play some things about Hyakimaru's younger brother in some episodes, but we already got an underdeveloped villain in Daigo. Then we add another one with his brother, but I guess this would segue well into our next section.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
Let's start off with our main characters. Hyakimaru is what he is supposed to be in the early episodes. He is a man that has no personality, and all that he does is go around looking for demons. But after some episodes, I was hoping that he was going to grow more of a personality, as he experiences more stories from others, and as he gains more body parts. But he is still hardly developed. He rarely uses his newly acquired body parts to their full potential. Most of the time, he acts like he is just a weapon and not an actual person. He shows the most personality when he is extremely angry and wants to kill everything that surrounds him. But aside from that, he is extremely bland. This lack of personality means the other characters would need to be interesting to offset the bland character that is Hyakimaru. And the person that they chose is Dororo. Dororo, for me, felt like he was just a dickhead. His main motivation for doing things is mostly just for money. And when he speaks to the people that they are helping, he promises a lot of things, and sometimes comes off as being arrogant. And while Dororo is overpromising to the people, Hyakimaru is the one doing all the work. And all of these things combined make Dororo an unlikable character for me. And if your main character is a personality-less human in Hyakimaru, and his helping hand is an unlikable kid in Dororo, then who are the watchers supposed to connect to? As these two are the ones that are basically in every episode. Each episode usually focuses on one or more extra characters, and some of these characters are really entertaining, like the episode where they focus on the guy that gave Hyakimaru prosthetics, and the episode where it focuses on the girl that does prostitution for her family. They look good and interesting as characters, especially when compared to the main two, but aside from some minuscule interactions in future episodes, a lot of them don't occur again in the series at all.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch!
Villains are supposed to be menacing and scary, and a villain cannot be menacing and scary without a personality. And they are especially more interesting if you understand where they are coming from. That is why villains with human personalities are the most interesting for me, as you feel and understand why they do certain things. Plain zombies and demons really aren't that interesting. I mean, look at the recent Game of Thrones Night King. He had no compelling story, and was basically just evil for the sake of being evil. So for me, characters like Tywin and Joffrey were way better as antagonists. In Dororo's case, they are fighting demons, but in this case, they added some human personalities to them, which for me made it interesting, as the Chimera Ants are a lot like that, and they became absolutely amazing. But Dororo doesn't do this as often as they should. They tried to give some personalities to the demons in some episodes, but they only did this for a select few. And even though their story wasn't really that interesting, they still were the best villains of the entire show. And if they just kept giving these demons personalities, then I probably wouldn't have dropped the series. I mean, look at the premise. The 12 demons that Hyakkimaru has to beat. This sounds interesting to me. If they had put more emphasis on these 12 demons, made their character design somewhat compelling, and gave them actual personalities, then I think that the show would have been way better. I know that I said earlier that the atmosphere was good. I mean, I honestly don't know why, but every time I watch an episode, it feels like 40 minutes has passed instead of 22. It might be because they rarely use background music, despite having a great OST. Or it might also be because there are major portions of episodes where it's mainly dialogue, but the dialogue really isn't that compelling. But, again, this is all my opinion, and we all have different tastes. I mean, for all I know, this could be your favorite show. And if it is, feel free to tell me why in the comments. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Sayonara.